Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo. Today's video is all about a jewelry collaboration challenge that is hosted by Pirate Pretties. Alright, so I have a mess here because I am trying to pick out what I want to use in my jewelry piece. So we are looking at May, and she wants us to use brown. And so for the brown, I am going to use this seashell fragment. And I'm also going to use these bead chips here. And I actually got these in Puerto Rico several years ago. I made a necklace for my mom from them. And I figured that would make a really nice piece there. I want to add some freshwater pearls. At first I thought I would use these kind of funky looking ones. But since we have the chips, I think that's too organic. So we're going to use regular freshwater pearls. And then I've got to figure out the next thing. It says brown. She wants us to use brass or gunmetal. And I'm going to use brass. So we're going to use this brass chain. And then I have this brass toggle that we'll use. And I do not have any brass bead tips. So I'm going to have to mix my metals so it looks right. And it doesn't look like, oh, where'd that come from? Random. We have all this brass and then we have a bead tip that's silver. So I figured we would use these little bumpy beads for the silver. And for the brass, I want to use these. Don't know how, but I'm going to use them somehow. But I need to make sure that some of the beads aren't going to go in those holes, because I'm probably going to flank them with these. And I tested them, and they're going to be okay, sort of. They kind of go halfway in the hole, and I actually want you to be able to see the whole bead. So I have these beads that I'll just put here and then stack the bumpy beads on top. We'll see how that works. If that doesn't work, I have these brass beads. So we'll just see, we'll have to see how things work. Sometimes I have a vision in my mind, and when I go to do it, it doesn't work and I have to switch. Something else I would like to use that'll get a little bit more brown in this are these beads. I got these from a bargain bead box years ago. As these came from Bargain Bead Box, this came from Bargain Bead Box, this one came from Bargain Bead Box, almost all of these came from Bargain Bead Box. All this right here came from Bargain Bead Box. Anyway, let's start creating. One other thing I want to add to the mix are these crystals that also came from a Bargain Bead Box. But I think those are going to make them look nice. And then I needed some brass wire. And I'm using 20 gauge to wrap this guy. So I want to show you what I've got so far. I really am liking the way this turned out. I wrapped the seashell fragment in the brass 20 gauge wire. And then I put these two brown beads on each side. And then I used the freshwater pearls and those brown crystals, which they're calling them copper, but they look really brown to me. And then I think this is working out really well. The little silver tone bumpy beads and the other silver tone beads with the brass beads. I think this is going to, I really, really like this. The only thing, these little chips are little itty bitty, and they're giving me a headache because they're very, very small and thin. So it's going to take me a while to string these up. But once I get them strung up, I'll return for what I plan to do next. It's all finished, and I'm very happy with it. So let's do a little recap here. I found this fragment of a shell on the beach near where I grew up along the Cape Canaveral Cocoa Beach area. I wired it with brass wire. There's the underside. I added these brown beads, some freshwater pearls with some brown crystals, and some silver tone bumpy beads and smooth silver tone beads, and these little brass discs. And then I used these, I don't know what kind of stones they are. They are a natural chips though, which I got those in Puerto Rico some years ago, along with those freshwater pearls. And then I added some brass chain, which, by the way, originally I was going to use a finer chain, but I thought it was too wimpy, so to speak, for this. So I went with a thicker chain. And then I have this brass fancy toggle here. And I'll take a picture of me wearing it so you'll see what it looks like. It winds up being right at 18 inches long. I did want to show you another necklace that I made with a seashell fragment, but I used a silver tone wire and chain. And this one's a little bit longer. But this was really fun to do, and I'll have to say, making these type necklaces are probably my most favorite because I do love the beach so much. Anyway, go check out all the other individuals that are participating in this collaboration. We have some very talented ladies. I will leave the links to all of their YouTube channels down at the bottom so you can check that out. I would really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That really helps me a lot. But mostly, I hope y'all have a fantastically wonderful day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.